All right, what's going on, everybody? So today, me and my friend here, Rex Sparks, I'll leave the link in the description for his channel. We
Mhm.
are going to be going. What? What?
You say that, yet you never do.
Yeah, I keep saying that. I'm gonna get on it this time. But we're basically gonna be going through the My Hero Academia series. Now we're not gonna be covering anything in the manga or anything like that. We're just gonna be going through everything that's happened in the anime so far. We're not gonna be including the movie because we both haven't seen the movie, so we're not gonna be covering anything about the movie. We're just gonna be covering the first 3 seasons because as of recording, that is basically what has been aired basically, and I guess this kind of goes without saying spoilers if you haven't caught up to the latest series. You might want to go ahead and watch that and then go back to this video. So with all that out of the way, oh yeah, and one last thing. I'm pretty sure this video is gonna be long, just in its entirety. So what I might do is what I did with the Naruto retrospective we did like years ago, is basically break the kind of break the arcs or break it down into separate videos for you guys to watch. And maybe I don't know if you want to put that on your channel too, if you're gonna do that like you did last time, but it's gonna be
Yeah,
there. It's gonna be accessible for y'all. So with all that out
I
of the
might end
way,
up doing that.
go ahead. What are you gonna say?
The whole thing on my channel.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Go ahead.
But with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this retrospective. So first few episodes, let's go ahead and cover this first season. First few episodes, we're introduced to Deku. We're introduced to Midoriya, and we also got Katsuki Bakugo within the first 2 episodes. And I was talking to you about this. I want to say like a year ago because I started. So I got onto this series way late. Like I knew about it years ago, but I didn't get on it. You were the one who actually suggested this series to me, and I started watching it a bit after. I want to say a bit after Toonami started airing it, and
Hmm.
something that really surprised me with this series, just off of the first 2 episodes, and I get on a lot of anime about this. I always have said this before, like I've said this in the past, that I usually give an episode. Well, I usually give an anime rather. I'll give an anime like 4 episodes, or I'll even be more gracious and even give it like 6 or 7 episodes. But usually, like if you're not hooking me, I usually drop an anime. And what I can say about this first season, out of all of the seasons, I think it's the strongest season. I honestly think it's one of the best.
Wow.
I think it's one of the best. Uh, it's one of the best first seasons for a shonen fighting anime. And these first 2 episodes are possibly the best first 2 episodes of just any shonen fighting anime like One Piece or Dragon Ball or whatever. Like it it does so much right. It does so much right. It gets you invested in Deku, in his issue that he's going through, with everything that he's going through. He wants to be a hero. He doesn't have a quirk, and I don't know what it is. If it's just the music, but the score for this show, it's just incredible. I wish I looked up the name of the guy that does the music for this, because it just when that music starts playing, it doesn't help that Midoriya is a crybaby. Like, obviously I'm not somebody who cries over like fictional characters or anything, but if I was one of those type of people, like there's some really heartfelt moments, even within the first 2 episodes. And I feel like what the first 2 episodes get right. So first of all, it gives us a reason to care about Deku. It gives us a reason to care about young Midoriya, and it also introduces obviously the antagonist. Like, even watching when I was first watching the first 2 episodes, I told you. So I had texted you. I was like, so when they first showed All Might, I was like, yo, this like my first impression was he kind of reminded me of Crimson Chin from Fairly Odd Parents. Like he has so much charisma. And then the thing with Deku, the thing that I really like is even though like I guess what could have been annoying about his character, you know, he's a big crybaby. He's really a big crybaby. But you feel for him, and you kind of like the thing that really works about this show. I think like overall, and especially with Midoriya is just the fact that the character is relatable. Like you mentioned this to me in the past that one of the inspirations for this character was Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
And the thing a lot of people say about Spider-Man, because for those of you guys who don't know, like Stan Lee, when Stan Lee was making Spider-Man, he based a lot of Peter Parker on himself. You know, a lot of realistic traits. And I think that's what makes this show so great and really helps the characters to be like way better than what they probably would have been otherwise. Is just the fact that the world and the characters are so relatable. It's grounded in a sense, but of course you have all these superpowers and stuff going in, and that's something that I like that they introduced in the first episode. That okay, this used to be a normal world, like it used to be a normal world, like what we're living in, but then just all of a sudden one day everybody just had quirks, you know, like what did they say, like 80% of the population or whatever ended up developing quirks, and then now it's a superhuman society. And one thing that I loved in the first episode, where they're just introducing all of these heroes, and you're getting to see how they're like taking on the villains and stuff. And one thing I can say is that within the first 2 episodes, like I said, they make you care about Midoriya and what he's going through. So not only that, so they make you care about the dude. They also introduce an antagonist that, you know, at first I was thinking, okay, Bakugo is going to be like Sasuke. That was my first impression. I was like, oh, he's going to be like Sasuke. He's like when I was watching the first episode, I'm like, okay, this guy, he's clearly going to be the rival. Just judging off of how he acts toward this dude, he's clearly the rival. And what's so interesting about Katsuki Bakugo is just the fact that, because I didn't realize this, I noticed that at first the creator wanted him to actually be completely different than what he is in the show. They wanted him to basically be this nice guy. And I'm so glad that he's not that. And I'm so glad that they didn't also try to pull too much from, because a lot of people have said, yeah, this show is inspired by Naruto. And yeah, I see some of that in there. I see that DNA in there. I see the DNA in there. Same thing like people say that Naruto had inspiration from Hunter x Hunter. The the DNA is in there. But with Bakugo, they make it clear that yeah, he's self-centered, and he's very prideful, like a lot of, like I want to say a lot of antagonists that we see in this type of show. Like, you know, for example, Vegeta. I guess Vegeta was actually, he has a lot more in common with Vegeta than I would say Sasuke. But you know, I'm speaking a lot on this first episode. Let me go and let you kind of speak.
About the first season overall, or just
the first 2 episodes? Well, yeah, just the first 2 episodes. Well, you can go in the first season, really, but I was just talking about just the first 2 episodes, kind of setting things up.
Okay, my first experience with the show, like, automatically I was just like hooked because of pretty much everything that you said, and especially the whole like Bakugo, especially him. Like, I hated his ass right at the gate because dude outright tells Ikazu to go jump off the damn roof of the school.
And that's what sold me on this dude.
Shit.
That's what sold me on him. He told this nigga to go. Okay, he told this dude to go take a swan dive off the school building.
He just said outright, "Yeah, go fucking kill yourself, dude.
I like this guy already.
It's like I have never seen.
Not to cut you off, because I'm gonna let you finish. But like, getting back to that Sasuke comparison, I was like, yeah, Sasuke, he can be a bit annoying toward Naruto, but he never told this dude to go kill himself. He never told this guy to go kill himself. Like, he wasn't that mean. Like, that's the difference. I believe, like, that's the difference between Sasuke and Bakugo. Or at least that's one of the differences, is that, yeah, he's a bully. He's a freaking bully. And just judging off of his demeanor and just the way that he acted in the first episode, even within those first 2 episodes, I was like, yo, is he gonna? I'm guessing he's gonna turn bad, or they're gonna, like, somebody, the villains are gonna try to get them onto his side, just like with Sasuke or whatever, with the Sasuke retrieval thing. And I'm glad that they actually did their own take on that. And it didn't end up panning out the way that you would kind of expect. But we'll get into that later.
We'll get to season 3. You're jumping.
Yeah. But go ahead.
We'll get to season 3. But
I didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay. All right, I know. But as I was saying, I get it. Like, you had to jump in there. But the fact that they established this man is an absolute prick to him, and they established at the gate, like, he's been doing this for years, and, like, I guess because of Ikazu not knowing or gravitating toward a lot of kids when they were younger, that he's just used to this fucking abuse by him at this point. That's why he's just, like, that's what I got out of it, especially looking at, like, analysis videos on the topic, and, like, yeah, Ikazu's kind of, like, fucking damaged to this shit already. That's why he can just take it anyway. But regardless,
yeah, I mean, but he kind of looked up. He kind of looked up to Bakugo though, when they were kids.
When they were kids, and then now he just. But Kage's blah. Bakugo pretty much said it better himself. He can never get rid of him. Like, every time he beat him up, every time he called him names and shit, he never could get rid of Deku, ever. No matter what he did, no matter what he said, still couldn't get rid of him. Any normal kid would have just cut his losses and said, fuck, and just pissed off already. He's not that kind of kid. And that's pretty much established. So after the whole, like, you should just take a swan dive off the roof, just establishing how much of an asshole he is out the gate.
It's like, what if I actually jumped? What would you have done then?
Yeah. Exactly. Horikoshi, that's the creator. Horikoshi pretty much established that a bad soul. And I'm glad, like you, I'm glad that he didn't go with what he was originally going to go with Bakugo as a nice guy. I'm glad he didn't go through with that. But after that, them Blades, like, contemplates being a hero and shit, and then we see all these other heroes in action. Oh, was that before or after that happened? And then the slime got his ass, or whatever the fuck that generic ass villain was supposed to be. that got Mr. I'm more badass than you'll ever be captured. Should never live that down. He should never fucking live that down. As badass as your quirk is, and it's like, captured by this fucking thing.
Well, he gets mad every time somebody brings it up.
He'll be egging his ass on. If I was actually captured
by the slime monster,
I would be like, as much shit as you talk, you got captured by a slime. You got captured by a slime. You have no right. Oh yeah, we're established the quirks and everything like that, like in the first episode, and then Ikazu eventually ends up meeting All Might, who basically the kid just basically idolizes him. Like, we already established this, like, in the first 5 minutes, and then after the encounter with the slime monster that Ikazu had, I'm going all over the place, but this is the reason. Like, I'm like,
it's fine. It's fine.
First season was long ago. Cut me some slack here. The slime monsters all dealt with. he asks All Might straight out, "Can I become a hero?" And All Might actually just says, "No, you cannot."
He's like, hey, you can always be a police, be a police officer. I mean, that's basically what he was like in. That's basically what he was applying. There's other ways to help out people.
Yeah, but he wanted to go full in like a hero mode with this, but this could have set Igazu into another direction altogether. And I've seen other paths of where Deku could have gone. Like there's an evil path where Shigaraki could have fucking taken him under his wing after he said that, and then All Might pretty much makes a syndrome out of Deku. The villain from The Incredibles, basically, I'm using that. That's basically what could have happened here. Have your hero that you idolize tell you can't do it, you can't help me, you can't do shit, and then that pretty much sets him off and becomes a syndrome. Years later, and almost like, oh shit, I did that. I said that. I made a villain out of you.
But in a way, All Might does, and we find out later in the series that he does have some influence on people like Stain that grew up. He had some type of influence over these villains in a way.
Yeah, he does that. You're right. You're absolutely right. But it could have gotten a lot worse for Deku if circumstances hadn't worked out the way they did with him. And then breaking out of the bottle because like Ikazu grabbed them and shit, and then the bottle fell and they got released, and then Bago gets captured with his insane ass gets captured, and then the whole in danger first. After we find out that we already found out at this point that All Might's pretty much on a timer because he can't keep
he can't keep his muscle form
up.
Basically. Yeah, he can't keep his muscle form for a certain amount of time because of an injury.
That in that gaping wound injury that he has, which again is a smart move because Hirokoshi could have been like, nah, he's gonna be OP 100% all the damn time. What you see right there is what you're gonna get all the damn time. He didn't do that. What he did was, he can only sustain this form for a bit because he's been doing it so long. We could have gotten All Might's OP all the damn time. We could have gotten that. But Hirokoshi said, no, we're not doing that. And so he couldn't hero up to save Bakugo, so Igazu jumps in and eventually almost gets his ass killed again before he's saved. And then that's what kind of triggers the whole who I'm gonna give my power to. I'm gonna give my power to in All Might's mind after he sees him do this, after he just told the kid you can't really be a hero given how you have no quirk. And then that's really where episode 1 lays off. Oh yeah, one more thing. Bago pretty much says I didn't need your help, damn it. I didn't need your help, damn it.
So you can tell that he wanted, in his own way, that he kind of wanted to say thank you, but then at the same time, it's just like his pride was kind of getting in the way. He's like, man, I don't need your help, and he just storms off. But something I did want to mention, because I'm looking, while you were talking, I was looking through my phone where I took a bunch of, I think you remember where I was arguing with somebody in the comment section of a video about basically this show in comparison to Hunter x Hunter and all this other stuff. So something I definitely wanted to bring up about Deku and what makes the character great. So here's the thing. When you look at other shonen protagonists, let's look at Naruto and even Asta, even someone like that. Those characters, like if you would have to describe their like characteristics or whatever, like in the beginning they're loud, they want other people's attention and stuff. Like they're very run of the mill when it comes to a lot of the tropes and stuff that we're used to. Like with Monkey D. Luffy, he eats a lot. Like Goku, he like Goku eats a lot. Goku isn't super smart, and neither is Luffy. And with Deku, we get a different character with a different sort of personality. That like we have never really. I don't think we've ever really seen a character like Deku where like he's a nerdy. He's a freaking fanboy. He's like within the first few episodes, he's like geeking out, and even later on in the series, he's like really geeking out about over the fact that okay he talks to Ochako, and he's like, oh my god, I just talked to a girl. He's like he's so freaking relatable.
He freaking mutters every time he does something too. When he overthinks something, he like mutters, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, dude, will you cut that out? You're doing it again."
Like he's timid. He's timid. He's polite, and that's uncommon. Like those are uncommon characteristics for a main like shonen protagonist. When we're talking about when we're talking about like a fighting anime like Yu Yu Hakusho, for instance, like I just reviewed that, and I would say, oh man, Yusuke is so far left from what we have seen in other like other protagonists in other series, because like he's rude, he's gonna speak his mind, but like Midoriya, he is complete opposite of that. And I can appreciate that this character isn't just another Naruto, isn't just another Asta, another Luffy. Like he has his own unique characteristics. And like another thing, he has his mother's at home. We don't know about his father, but his mother did mention that his father, I think his father has like a fire quirk or something like that. I believe that's what she said, and I think that. And her quirk was she's able to like she's able to pull items or something toward her. And like just the fact that just the fact that he has a normal life, and not only him, but like the other characters that we see in this class, like later on, we get to see Ochako's parents. We get to see Ida's parents. We get to see these characters with actual parents. It's not some crap like my parents are dead, or my father is gone, or whatever. Like it's not what we're used to. And I can't stress enough how refreshing it was to actually watch an anime where like it's more realistic, it's more relatable. Especially once we get into a lot of the other stuff that we're gonna talk about later on, with Todoroki and God, I'm blanking on the other guy's name, but yeah, we gonna get into some stuff that really.
Todoroki Ida.
Yeah, you knew exactly who I was talking about. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was sorry.
I totally get what you're saying.
I was blanking on the name.
I totally get what you mean, like overall with this series, though. But yeah, I got exactly who you were talking about, though. But yeah, it's a breath of fresh air to have like all this new fresh air, given the fact that we're so used to the whole like the overeating of characters, a guy who always wants to train and beat the
guy that just wants to fight all the time, like Goku. Goku just won't fight. Yes.
I'm so over Goku. I'm so fucking over his type of character, like overall. And once you were talking, like going in the Yu Yu Hakusho and looking at that again, I was looking up clips while you were doing it, and I sent you this whole compilation of like Yusuke being an asshole, and you were like, "Oh my god, I don't even remember most of it."
That's because they cut a lot out. They cut a lot out when it came to Tanami for us kids, but yeah.
But still, it's like we'll never see something like that again. We'll never see something like Yusuke again. Like, but in Deku's case, Deku is such a breath of fresh air, and everyone around him is like a breath of fresh air. It's ridiculous how like fresh this series is. And we expect one thing out of it, and it's like, oh yeah, we're not doing this. We're doing this thing.
Yeah, it's not predictable. It's not really predictable. I mean, I will say, because someone tried to argue with me, like, I think it was like years ago or whatever about it. But he was basically saying that, yeah, it follows a formula. It's no different from Naruto or anything like that. But I would completely disagree with that. There are things in there that you can tell it was inspired by. I mean, that you can say that about everything, because like what I was bringing up earlier with like what was I about to say? Hunter x Hunter, like with Hunter x Hunter and Naruto, and then with this show in Naruto, and then before Hunter x Hunter, what was before Hunter x Hunter? It was like Dragon Ball Z, and the thing that inspired Dragon Ball Z was Akira. Like, there's going to be those. Like, there's going to be elements taken from other series that, you know, gradually it's going to get refined. And as writers continue to get better, we're going to get better writing. We're going to get something like this. That's why I would say that this show is basically, like I feel like we hit the peak with this show. Like, if there's any show that is better than this, you know, after this show is done, like, I don't know how that's gonna be. Like, this show really is, it sets a standard, especially when it comes to having a big cast of characters, and those characters not all being, you know, one dimensional and stuff. And we'll get into the other characters. But let's kind of move on from the first two episodes. I know we kind of spent a lot of just kind of talking about the beginning of the series, but I wanted to kind of stress a few things in regards to Midoriya and Bakugo, because those are really the two biggest those are like the two big main characters. Now we got the entrance exam. I believe that's the next thing. Well, nah. But so before that was the training with All Might. And that episode, and I'll just say this about it. One of my main criticisms about Hunter x Hunter, from what I can remember, when I did that video a few years ago, and one of the issues that I have with with like certain shows, in this genre, is just the fact that I hate it when you don't see a character train to get to his next power or to learn a move or whatever. And I can appreciate that, like, early on we see Izuku basically training in a way on the beach, because he has to move all that trash off of the beach. And they give him, like, what was it, like 10 months or whatever before the entrance exam. I believe it was like 10 months or something like that. But yeah, we actually get to see him get stronger and, you know, get buffed up, you know, get some tone, right? So we get that with the third episode, Roaring Muscles. And then was there anything you wanted to add on that, or I can kind of get to the entrance exams?
Nah, nothing that I could add to it, because you pretty much nailed everything on the head, man. Like, he had to move that trash in order to like get the quirk like really going into, like, then again, All Might pretty much outright told him, like, you have to get stronger in order for that quirk to even like have a factor, like, at all. So
yeah, because like if you take it prematurely, it's gonna like tear your body up.
You are gonna die.
And that definitely like in retrospect, you can definitely see that he wasn't joking, because like look how he was using his power during the sports festival, where like he was just damaging himself the whole time. So you can imagine what would have happened if he would have taken the power, you know, but before he got buffed, before he moved all of that trash. You can pretty much imagine how that would have gone. So then after after that, we finally get to the entrance exams. Or I think they called it the practical exams or whatever. But basically, we get to the exams and we get introduced to a lot of the characters that are going to be in Class 1A. We get introduced to Ochaku and Ida. And I believe, I can't even remember the gay dude with the belly button laser.
I have no
I'm
idea.
blanking on dude's name, but even he was in there. But yeah, we get introduced to those characters, and once again, Izuku is geeking out over President Mike, and everyone's telling him to like shut up, and, like Ida's telling him to shut up and everything. And
let me point this out. Real quick. How they built up Ida in like the first 2 episodes when he was introduced, I absolutely thought like, I'm gonna fucking hate you. I can already tell I'm gonna hate your ass too. And then they Erikoshi throws another damn curveball. It's like, I expected to hate you because you were grilling him about everything he was doing, and then now, where we are now, dude's one of his closest friends. It's like, I don't like his character. It's like, what? There's that shifting expectations again.
I mean, I didn't really have a problem with him, just like when he was first introduced or anything, because I feel like, man, I feel like they could have done it a lot worse than what they did, and just the fact that I kind of like him being a stick in the mud. They show him in like so many moments where he's just looking goofy, like he's trying to be all, what's the word for it? He's trying to be like proper and everything, and buy the books or whatever. But when it comes for his time to shine, they'll just have him like in a goofy pose or whatever. He's trying to look cool and everything. You can tell he's like I definitely like his character. At first I was, again, going back to just kind of comparing it to Naruto, I thought he was going to be like the Neji of the series or whatever. But I definitely like his character. And man, Ochako. So when Izuku first meets her and everything, like I mentioned earlier, he's like, "Oh my god, I talked to a girl." Then the show has the little subtitle, has a little caption. He's like, I didn't actually talk to her. Man, but like I said, like the character is so relatable. But during the exams and stuff, Izuku punches the 0 point machine. All the machines had different points for the people taking the test and everything. And that's another thing that I like about this show is the like different activities that they have to do during the exams and stuff. And I definitely like this first one that they introduced.
I liked it. I loved it.
And so I guess we don't really have too much to say about that episode, because we got to get into the nitty gritty, where we can really talk about a lot of this stuff. So let's kind of speed up.